ride together, we die together. Bad boys for life. Get busy living, or get busy dying.
You ain't first, last. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Welcome to Brews and Reviews with Mick and Pat. I'm Mick.
And I'm Pat.
And each week we sit down with you degenerates to pretend we're certified cicerones and cinephiles.
That is right. So grab a cold one and join us as we review Flaming Embers, Cherry, Hibiscus, Lime, Hard Kombucha, and give our thoughts on the season finale of the HBO Max series, The Last of Us.
And if you've been with us before, you know what time it is.
Release the Kraken!
Sounded nice.
Oh, what? Oh my gosh.
I was hoping for the spray.
That's
Wow. It's taking me back. It's taking me back
to snow cones.
Yes.
Holy f***. That's why I'm saying wow.
All right.
He's being pretty good. He's being well behaved. We should do that before we forget.
For those of you out there with a highly trained ear, you might have heard 3 cans crack instead of 2. And that's because for the first time on the Mick and Pat show, we're being joined by a guest and a friend. So
First time?
First time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that make you feel the pressure?
I feel no pressure, but
Honestly, it's best that you don't feel any pressure. We are joined by a friend, Brian, and Brian here. He's got some podcasting experience. I think you've been on a couple, right? Or you've done a couple shows of your own thing.
I've never hosted a podcast. I've never hosted one, but yeah, I've been on a couple.
Yeah. So I mean, Brian has got a strong background in the film industry, I would say, and is pretty familiar with kind of how this stuff rolls. So we felt like it was fitting to invite him on when his schedule is free, and he fortunately has watched The Last of Us all the way through, and also fortunately likes beer. So happy to have you on, Brian.
Glad to be here. Also, I just need to disclaim that I'm an assistant director, and they think they have strong backgrounds in film. So, we just just like we pretend to be cicerones and cinephiles, you can pretend to be a director. I was wondering what the word cicerone means.
Cicerone?
Yeah.
Cicerone is an expert on beer. It's like a sommelier
of the beer world.
Certified
this is very
cicerones.
educational.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey, well, I mean, that's what we aim to do.
Is to educate your listeners.
Yeah. And so on the show, we read the can, and you might have heard we're doing Flying Embers. And if you've listened a few podcasts ago, we reviewed a different one of their drinks. It was the Orange Mimosa. Is that what? Yeah, the Orange Mimosa. Yeah. And so we have scoured the local liquor oases.
It is tapped, dog.
And we couldn't find a new brewery for you guys this week, so we apologize for that. But Flaming Embers, we're giving them a different try, and this one is for their Cherry Hibiscus Lime, 7.2% alcohol by volume, 0 sugar, 0 carbs. They have that Phoenix logo. I like this can.
Last time Pat over here just almost broke my car window, screaming into the mic to be a Phoenix.
Yeah, I won't do it this time.
It's a nice can.
It's a nice can.
Yeah, it looks good.
Hey, that's part of the rating too.
Oh, yeah. Okay, all right. Am I like a third party judge, or is there?
No. The scale would be broken if we added another set of thumbs. But we're happy you're here.
Well, I think we need the the viewer's opinion from Brian on it's like just the third in the official count.
Yeah,
which is highly official method of
a review of the review.
I think we need Brian's opinion.
Yeah,
but when it comes to the thumb scale, we can't add in a second set of thumbs or third set of thumbs
though.
Of course, he gets to tell people what his thumbs are.
All right.
They just won't be on Untapped. Here's the issue. Untapped is a 1 to 10 scale or 0 to 10 scale. Sorry, no, 0 to 5. But it breaks down into 0.25 quarters.
Okay.
So a 0 thumbs up rating is perfectly a 2.5 out of 5 on Untapped. 1 thumb up rating is like perfectly in scale with the metrics for their 2 thumbs up. 2 thumbs up is like 3.25. So it's odd that it worked out that way.
Okay.
Does this make sense?
No.
No, that's all right. That's all right. If you look at Untapped and see the way we rate the beers, you'll see like if it got a thumbs up, thumbs down.
Got it.
And how many it got, and that will also align with the score we gave it numerically.
The thumbs rating thing is
You as an individual have the ability to give up to 2 thumbs on a beer.
Well, some people.
All the way down. The fortunate ones.
Yeah,
of us
some are 3.
Who've retained the 3rd thumb.
Or if you grew up near a uranium mine.
Yes, that's true. Thumb going right out of your forehead. Just scratches that'd be nice for scratching an itch on your face. Like when you're really trying to just like discreetly scratch an itch, your thumb just can come down there and just for you. It's like a windshield wiper.
I don't like it.
Anyways,
I don't like it.
Anyways.
So at the end of this, you're going to get the chance to give it 2 thumbs up, 1 thumb up, 0 thumbs, 1 thumb down, 2 thumbs down. And that's the...
And for our listeners out there who are new, like Brian, a 0 thumbs up is not a negative review. A 0 thumbs up is just simply like if you don't give it any thumbs up, you're like, hey man, I liked it. It might not be everybody's thing. It might not be my thing.
It's like the 3 out of 1 to 5.
It's it's the 2.5.
It's
literally like it's like the middle of the road.
Is this like shorter thumbs than normal? Is that what's going on here?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, all right.
All you need to know is that
it's the 5 out of 10.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the 2.5 out of 5.
All right.
Or
confuse it with numbers.
I can't divide past that any further. I have no idea.
Here's the best thing. If you don't like it, tell us and we'll tell you what to rate it.
Okay, all right.
We're gonna
all right, guide us through this.
We're gonna since we've already reviewed this brewery before.
We didn't review the brewery.
We educated on we didn't review the brewery. Right, you're right.
You educated us.
We educated about the brewery. They are out of California.
Oh,
and they.
Typical.
Yeah, exactly. The main things here have been most kombucha so far have been out of Colorado or California, and we had one out of Portland. So
I feel like if a hard kombucha place emerged out of like Cookeville, Tennessee, the world would just implode. Like the universe would shatter. Yeah,
I don't know if hard kombucha is headed,
I got bad news.
East of the old Mississippi yet.
Everyone I talked to today trying to find one we hadn't tried, a brewery hadn't sampled yet. All of them were like, yeah, honestly, they're just not selling.
Really?
And we're just giving the shelf space to other stuff at this point.
Interesting.
I mean,
it's just like a trend for a bit, huh?
Oh yeah, 100%.
What we got to check the bottom.
I think these are 11.
What's that? We're checking the bottom of the can for what?
Wow, 2023.
That's impossible.
Oh, this is the date?
Oh wait, no. We're looking for the can.
Yeah. 10/12, 2023.
It hasn't been October
at 8:58 p.m.
Yeah, so I guess that must be their sell by then. But some have had enjoy by dates, and some have canned on dates.
Okay,
these things we're learning about the beers,
the
beer world. But the we've had some that like expired like almost a year ago.
Yeah, there was some that we've gotten that were canned in 21.
So
really,
I think that the industry. I don't know if it's going to make it. We'll see.
Yeah. So I was thinking about starting a hard kombucha business. I will pivot.
Yeah. We too.
No, we think we might start.
You might start one because let's talk about this.
Also, so here's the deal with we've come to learn too that there's 3 kinds of kombuchas out there making it.
Kombuchas?
Yeah. One
sounds like one of those words.
One we reviewed last week, like the purist, the just most likely hairy armpitted, dirty feeted, SCOBY growing hippies, and they believe in the cause. They're out there,
wispy sideburns.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. That could be a guy or a gal.
So that's your purist out there. And when we had last week, I liked that one. Because it felt like the real deal. It felt like the genuine article.
Yeah.
And then there's people who are kind of in the middle, like I'd put Flying Embers in this middle category where they're like they're into it. They brew it themselves. They make it on site there, and they're not farming it out. But they're they're probably a little more interested in business than in like growing fungus.
Yeah, it looks like they put some money into their branding too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the third type, which we run into the most frequently, is people who stand up a company, get a Squarespace website, and find a brewery that can white label they're essentially like, it's almost like a drop shipping type model for kombucha. So they're white labeling their,
what's that say about kombucha?
Yeah. So they're, and then,
it's fraud, man.
And they're selling it as a hip drink. So,
you'd think all these people would be anti-establishment, like, no, man, we want to do the real thing. We're not about like the capitalistic drive of, starting a shell company where we don't even know our own product. Mm-hmm. And then that's exactly what like 80% of these kombuchas.
That's hilarious. Mm-hmm. I mean, the fact that there's alcohol in kombucha, which like normal kombucha is marketed as like, oh, it's like just a little 1%. Bit of alcohol and it helps your gut kind of thing. Now they're just like, you know what? Screw it.
Add it in. And because some of the ones we've tried, it feels like they've kind of gone the seltzer or like, like the Truly and White Claw route where it's like just
seltzer cider,
adding in, they're just like adding in alcohol, some sort of cheap alcohol.
Okay.
To it.
Are they adding alcohol to it or is it fermented to mix the alcohol?
I think that we've had both. Like the one from last week felt like it was from the kombucha, but some of these ones in the cans and stuff.
This one tastes like there's like straight vodka mixed into it.
Just like the cheap alcohol is being added. So I don't know.
I don't taste the alcohol in this one.
Yeah.
This one reminds me of the lemonade Trulies, to be honest. Mm-hmm. If you like the lemonade Trulies, this is definitely up the route. Anyhow,
and I don't know if I've had those. Is our next thing going to be going through all those?
We're gonna have a recovery.
We got to get back on beer.
I was going to say, we're gonna have a recovery session
don't
where
worry,
we just
you
go
guys,
through beer.
Beer's coming back. But to wrap up the Flaming Embers Brewery, they are, like I said, they're out of California. They've been their cool story is that basically they were almost burned down, and they didn't from a wildfire a couple years ago, and that's where their Phoenix logo kind of comes from.
Clever.
And they give back to first responders and firefighters specifically, and around mental health for first responders. So that part is what we like.
Nice.
And it's kind of in vein of the episode that we're going over tonight. The name of the episode, Look for the Light, the Fireflies, Flying Embers.
Yeah. Oh, man. There's some good themes going on.
All of you out there get to work on the, culty, putting the pieces together of what the other ones, how they relate to the episodes. Because we didn't name drop how each one relates to each episode, so figure it out.
Oh.
Everyone does.
Accidentally or purposefully?
Intentionally. Purposefully.
Mix. Yeah.
But the...
nodding his head, yes.
I'll say this. 90% have been intentional. One of those, we couldn't come up with anything. So we're hoping on some crazy people on a sub thread out there to have some wild theory about how it does relate.
With enough mushrooms, you can make connections to anything.
That's true.
It's true.
All right. So is it time for the swish test?
It is. Everybody, go ahead. You know what to do. You're going to take an ample sip, just enough that you can do something with it. And you're going to let it get underneath your tongue, roof of your mouth, and then you're going to push it
what are you talking
through
about?
your teeth.
All right.
So take a sip. There you go, Brian. Now swish it around. And now push it through your teeth. Like literally aerate the drink. Yeah, there you go. Mm-hmm.
And feel where it touches all the taste buds all the way back down your whole tongue. That's how you get the tastes in there.
You got to aerate it to get the full
It
flavor.
became foam.
Is that the point? Yeah, that's the point, is aerating it.
I don't enjoy swishing my beer.
Really?
Drink. Don't enjoy that.
That's good because this isn't beer.
Well, this will be the last time Brian's on the podcast.
Just firing shots.
No. The reason we do that is because you will get different flavor palettes, and you will be able to kind of pick up more on the notes of stuff. And so
I thought it was
like sommelier. They do that too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I thought it was because it gets the alcohol in you faster.
They do the.
Is that for their like brand? Or
no,
versus,
seriously, have you ever seen it?
I've seen it. Yeah.
They like literally tilt their head down and
inhale.
Their
persuasion?
Because this is carbonated. Wine's not carbonated. You do that, there's a good chance you're going to choke just like that. This guy, he's out of Scissor Road.
Yeah, don't do that.
I'm glad you did it first. I was about to do it.
It's still in my nose.
Yeah.
Oh,
What's your nose say it tastes like?
vodka. Man, I'm serious.
Flaming embers.
I must have an acquired taste. I mean, you guys have been weeks through this, but yeah, it's got a sweetness. It's kind of, I can taste the cherry for sure.
Yeah. I'm pretty surprised that vodka is the big one you're tasting of like the alcohol flavor profiles, because I have a pretty strong aversion to the taste of vodka, which is maybe why I think this tastes like a Truly, because I know Trulies are made with vodka, vodka seltzers, but I don't taste any vodka when I drink those. You know what I mean? But this I think really does taste. Gosh, probably of all of them, this might be my favorite flavor. I'm sorry, but like this is so snow cone.
Do I hear two thumbs coming?
Oh, whoa. 2 thumbs is nothing has gone 2 thumbs yet. Actually, I did give 2 thumbs to one thing, but there's never been a 4th thumber.
Yeah.
That's it.
You're like the guy that's like an almost compliment is a compliment, you know?
Huh?
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
It's like the intimidating uncle that's like, you did okay. And then you're like, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We got to keep it measured. Anyways, what do you think, Pat? What do you kind of get in flavor wise?
The cherry is there. That's the main,
cherry lime.
I've never eaten I've eaten a lime by itself. I've eaten a cherry by itself. I've never licked a hibiscus flower.
You ate a lime by yourself, like just on its own?
You've never like bit a lime?
Oh yeah,
at least you can just
okay,
on its own.
Yeah.
Have you had a hibiscus water? That's like a
hibiscus. Isn't it hibiscus or is it high?
I don't know.
Hibiscus.
I think it's hibiscus.
We need to look this up, but
Craig, look it up.
Oh, Mick says words weird. I just don't tell him.
That's true. You know what's funny though? Well, no, this isn't the place where this is Brews and Reviews.
All right.
I just want you to know a lot of people that tell me of the words we both mispronounce.
All
So
right.
it's not just me.
Okay, well, I'm sure I do it too. So that's coming for you later in a later episode. I like it. All right. The flavors. I think that you could give this to a child and they would not stop drinking it.
Oh yeah, I mean,
like this is a little bit of one of those danger drinks.
I realize why I think it tastes like snow cones. It doesn't taste like snow cones. It tastes like the Sonic, Sonic. Sonic.
Oh yeah.
Okay. It tastes like the Sonic cherry limeade.
Yeah.
Like shaved ice.
If you had the good ice in a styrofoam cup and poured this in there, you wouldn't know, people wouldn't know the difference. I don't think.
On ice that'd be pretty good.
Yeah, like
shaved ice.
Like if that too. Yeah, is like a shaved
the
ice.
Sonic ice. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. If I pour this in shaved ice and I got a Sonic cherry limeade and I gave you one, I think you'd almost pick the Sonic one to be the more alcohol one, like to be the alcohol one because it's overly sweet. A lot of people a lot of these cocktails are too sweet.
It'd be like those drinks you get on Bourbon Street in New Orleans.
I will say that the edge of alcohol, the initial couple swigs I had, it was just like kind of hit me in the back of the nose, but it's like it's worn off a little bit.
Yeah.
Also, here I pulled this up just because we have to.
No. Hold on. Hey, hold on, Brian. I do not want you to lift your hand up to work.
You are our guest
on this
here.
podcast. You're a guest.
Oh, why don't you look up?
No. Craig is our and he will look that up.
You guys have an intern?
Yeah, he's behind the current over there.
That's amazing. I was wondering who that was.
Yeah. So here's the deal, Craig. We're looking for the pronunciation of hibiscus.
Hibiscuses.
Hibisci.
Now, Craig, go ahead.
All right.
He's
got it for us, Craig.
Yeah.
All right. Pass old Brian the laptop over there. Let's hear this. Thanks, Craig.
Smoke break. Hey, Ken, it's Mick, and I've got something important to talk about. We all hope we never find ourselves in a self-defense situation, but life's unpredictable. Enter the National Self-Protection Plan from Attorneys on Retainer, an actual credible law firm you can put on retainer for your self-defense needs. For just $35 a month, you get national coverage in all 50 states for criminal and civil legal representation in self-defense situations, complete with a 24/7, 365 toll-free emergency line. That's real legal support when you need it most. What's in the package? bail bonds, scene cleanup, firearm replacement, even mental health counseling. Plus, 0 fees for a laundry list of defense-related costs like expert witnesses. So support the show and get yourself some peace of mind. Click the link in our show notes or visit our sponsors page to sign up for the National Self-Protection Plan from Attorneys on Retainer.
Hey folks, Pat here. If you're like Mick and I, you're a fan of classic tales like Lonesome Dove, Blood Meridian, The Three-Body Problem, and Steinbeck's East of Eden. With Audible, you can dive into these epic stories anytime, anywhere. Sign up for a free month, and your first audiobook is on the house. To start your free trial and support our show, click the link in the show notes or swing by the sponsors page on our website.
Want an awesome website for your podcast? Check out Podpage. We use it for the Mick Pat show, and it's a game changer. Set it up in minutes, no coding needed. Support the show by using our link to get started. Your podcast deserves a home as great as ours. Podpage, the one-stop solution.
Nice, Craig.
Oh, yeah. play fucking sound.
He doesn't want to, I guess.
You need to plug them in?
No. The computer's making sound. Will it not say hibiscus?
Oh, you know what, Craig? This is for, so you can actually say it like as it's saying it. Here we go.
Oh, just hit the
Yeah.
hit, yeah. Hibiscus.
Mm.
What were you guys saying?
Hibiscus.
Oh,
You said
come on.
it with a U. Or
Hibiscus. You said
hibiscus.
Yeah,
Hibiscus.
I think you smoke hibiscus. Hibiscus is what you put in things to make them sound
When you smoke
fancier.
hibiscus, you get hibiscus.
So that was an absolute
Wow.
waste of time. But anyways, so we've got so off track at some points. No. Okay, all right. Hey, here it is, Pat.
Yeah.
Brian, Craig, even for you. Those are my words. Now me and him. There you go, boys. You're right.
A man of humility.
The most.
So I like it. All right, I think it's time to give our some final thoughts on this this here drink.
And let's let Brian go first. Brian, there is no right or wrong here. I mean, Pat literally gave a dog shit beer a thumb up because the can was pretty. And I find that so offensive, but that just means
I get that.
It's safe for you to have any opinion on
Okay,
this.
listen, I will buy a book because of its cover. Like, I'm one of those guys. I love a good cover. I love a good label. So I get that. But
just know that to really keep it in perspective, in case you're ever on the show again, a 2 thumbs
I'm on
up.
thin ice.
A 2 thumbs up from you would mean this would be like in your top beverages. Like this would be like a go-to top beverage
got it.
of pleasure.
Yeah, I have to reserve that for like
Like
best.
your
I
top 5 or
it,
10.
I phrase it as like my top 10 get the 2 thumbs up.
Yep. No, that's a good metric.
So,
man, so yeah, I mean, I agree with all the comments. I do enjoy the flavor. I would have it again. So, like, if I wouldn't buy it though, and maybe that's just because I don't.
what setting might you drink this in?
That's a really good question.
It was $16 for a 6-pack.
I would drink it in a setting where I was invited to a podcast that reviews hard kombucha. No, I'm kidding. But I mean, it would be a great summer drink on a boat. I could see it on a boat. It'd be really good, especially over that ice. I'd be down for that. I honestly might buy it just for the Sonic ice. So I would give it a solid thumbs up. 1
Solid thumb up.
All right, solid thumbs up. There.
Respect it.
I like it.
Respect. Doesn't matter. Completely irrelevant. But
All right, moving on to the good stuff now.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I agree. I think the boat life people could be smacking some of these back. I think it'll get you in a little bit of trouble. It's like
it's a 7er.
It'll go down easy and fast.
Sam naked
on a
from
hot
the waist
day.
down right
yeah. Yeah. After a couple more of these, and you will be.
No one will ever know.
This is true.
We literally have 3 cameras on right now.
Everyone's
gonna know.
They're shooting from the waist up. Nobody
Okay,
knows.
yeah.
We could be naked underneath the table right now.
Yeah, you're right.
But for me, out of comparing it to all the other kombuchas we've had, this is probably in the top 2 or 3
yeah.
of the ones we've
Really?
had. And when we've reviewed 9, this is our 9th kombucha to review.
Just don't forget about Boochcraft. That
'Cause here's
good
the
old
deal.
first one. That
Old-
first entry.
Boochcraft.
Boochcraft, yeah.
Boochcraft was Boochcraft was like a first lover that knew you were inexperienced.
Was that a?
It was
And then
gentle.
gave
Was
you
that
the
a
clap.
wispy wave kind of kombucha?
No, it was a Boochcraft was they're out of Denver, and they're trying to be like a hip speakeasy group. And just the thing we had, it just wasn't good. It tastes
No,
like
that's Hooch Booch. Boochcraft
Oh,
was
Boochcraft.
Boochcraft was our like Moscow
I see. I'm
Mule
mixing
one,
up.
the
You're right.
first
You're
one.
right. Hooch Booch has been
Hooch Booch is
was-
the dog that we kick.
yeah, right. So Boochcraft was the first one we had, and that was been the best one the whole time.
Yeah.
So that's what you got to go after. And since then, we've been on a roller coaster of different things.
So you're back at the top now.
So this
pretty
one's
good.
like 2 or 3, up there. I'm gonna give it, as far as all beverages go, though, I'm giving it a 0 thumb.
0 thumb.
Giving it a 0 thumb
No,
because
that's okay.
because it's I know it says 0 sugar, but it feels like
Aspartame.
it's a little too sugary for me. And I think that people could try it if they want, but for
Hear
me,
that.
I'm giving it a 0 thumb.
Well, Pat, I think I'm going to give it a thumb.
Giving it a thumb.
And the reason I give it a thumb is I was thinking
Ooh.
about this on the way over here. This one was one that I gave a firm 0 thumbs.
You were drinking
to.
this on the way here?
No. The other one from Flying Embers, I gave a firm 0 thumbs
Yeah,
because it had that.
tasted like Monster.
Not monster. It smelled like monster.
Smelled like
it
Monster. It
tasted
tasted
like
like,
emergency. Yeah. And I just think that this is so good. And if you remember when we were reading the reviews for Flying Embers, God bless their hearts.
Oh yeah, let's bring those up again.
Dude, the reviews were, I opened this can in my house and now my house smells like shit. Do not drink this beer.
Yep,
Or do
yep.
not drink this hard kombucha. It's so like, I was wondering if
These
this
are
was
Flying
gonna,
Embers reviews?
yeah. They have like three reviews.
Oh.
And
There's only 3?
all of them are bad.
Let's be generous. There's 4.
Oh, there's 4 now?
wait,
There were definitely 3 when we last watched.
Is this on their
this
website?
I know it's on Google. My God, this is disgusting. I don't think I've ever reviewed something online. I tried this, and oh my God, it perhaps is the most disgusting thing I've ever consumed. I hate it so much. Do not consume. I repeat, do not consume. Gross.
These are probably staff doing this. It's like negative PR.
I don't know, man. I don't. For me, I was like, there's no way they could even be talking about the citrus one we had last
And
time. It
that's
wasn't that bad.
Yeah, and they didn't post
Wasn't
which
bad.
flavor it was. So we don't know which one of their drinks is the one that this guy's referring to. But
Obviously the poop flavor, but not the cherry hibiscus lime.
And that's why I'm saying, like, I think I'm going to give it a thumbs up because
Yeah.
I've had one thing from the brewery that I thought was a 0 thumbs, borderline thumbs down for me. Just because of how medicine-y it almost tasted.
Now, do you guys, I have to ask, do you guys drink normal kombucha? Is that something?
No.
No.
I do.
I do too.
Mick doesn't. So,
Mick
I
doesn't.
have no interest in it.
but that's
Yeah.
because he never had it. But
You like probiotics?
No interest.
It's kind of a
in
weird
it.
question. No yogurt? You like yogurt?
I do like yogurt
Yeah.
in my
Yeah.
smoothies.
yeah,
Okay.
because go ahead.
Oh, I mean, I was just gonna say because there are some kombucha flavors that have come out, and I feel like it's been out a while. Because at first I was kind of weirded out by it. You have to like mix that weird SCOBY thing.
Looks like someone
It looks like someone spit.
spunked in it. dude.
Yeah, that's probably on that list of naughty words that I pulled up before this episode.
We've already said it.
Spunked. no, it'd be a good one to add. But there's one that I have enjoyed that has cayenne pepper in it, which you would not think would be good, right? But I freaking love it. Like I like seek it out.
When I'm sick, I go for that one.
Yeah.
That's great.
Helps you out.
That's great.
Anyway,
Anyways, I'm gonna give this beer a 1 thumb up. This beverage a 1 thumb up. I think it tastes good. I would recommend this as someone's first hard kombucha. Like if someone was like, "Hey, I've never had hard kombucha before. Is this a good one to try?" I'd be like, "Yeah, that's fine." It's gonna be a good one that's gonna give you exposure to an overall like what you can expect from kombucha,
Right.
and you're not
An
gonna regret
STD.
it.
Right.
Yeah. So
Do you feel like this compares to kombucha you've had? Like, is it just? Is it totally different?
Yeah, because I'm burping all the time. That's for sure. But yeah, I mean, that's why I'm curious to know like the making process of some of these, if it's fermented sugars or if it's added alcohol.
Some of them have
I would
sugar,
hope
some
it's
of them
fermented.
Right.
Yeah, because I feel like that's kind of a cheat if you're adding
Adding it
vodka.
afterwards.
But anyway, it's comparable. I would say so. Yeah.
With that though, overall rating, Brian, your opinion matters. We're happy you're here. I love that you're here. I've been wanting you to be on the show for a while. But it's not going to be on our Untapped. Overall, 1 thumb up for Flying Embers, which I think is where it's better than their other one. Their other one, we both gave 0 thumbs. So they're doing good. And for all of our listeners out there, you can find our reviews on Untapped underneath the user name of Mick Pat, because they don't like the ampersand sign. So Mick Pat, or you could just search the Mick and Pat show on Untapped. It'll pull up both. And you can see what we recommend, what we don't recommend, what we are divided on, like XXX Punch, whatever that one was, the cucumber lime one. And
the hippie toe jam one.
Maybe you'll find Brian's review there, giving it a thumb up.
He's going to be encouraged to go start his own rogue Untapped account after this.
I'd love to have him on.
I will earn all the badges on Untapped because those bastards would not consider my...
It's addicting as hell, to be honest. The badges get you. Yeah. They make you want to...
This is gamify the whole thing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. There's so many... And they're like so niche, like the badges, that you're like, if I get that, who else has that one?
It's like morning drinker.
And there's like levels. Yeah. You put a review before noon. Get some help. Anyways, Brian, our bladders are used to being on this show, but do you need a break before we move into the episode review?
I feel pretty good. I haven't broken the seal, so
yeah, keeping it tight, keeping it right. All right, we're moving into the series finale of
series.
Oh, you're right. You're right. The season finale of. You're right. Man, I really was getting hyped up to say that and you just cut me off. Let me just into it, Molden Mick.
Ken, thanks for joining us. We're pretty rowdy today, as you can tell. We're excited. It's a milestone having our first guest. But we are very excited, enthusiastic even, to discuss the season finale to season 1 of The Last of Us. And going into the final episode, I'm very pleased with what this show put out, and overall, like I can say, for those of you who might be on the fence, you don't give a shit about spoilers, you're just really listening to see whether or not we thought it was good, worth your time. I'll say this, it's worth your time. That's kind of where I'm at on it, and I am really looking forward to breaking it down with you guys. You don't have to share your opinions right away, if you got something controversial or anything like that, but I am at the point where like I'm very pleased and happy to say it's worth it. It's worth the time.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're going to talk about the finale episode, as well as kind of what we think of the whole season as a whole.
Yeah.
And in this episode, also,
sorry, my mic is loose.
Did you guys give spoilers away?
So
we do.
So
okay.
This is the part where we say,
"Oh, we should let Brian know." The assumption is that the listeners, the show is designed that they are going to drink this beverage with us.
Fun. All right.
After having watched the show.
Yeah, so they pause it and go out and buy it. Or
The idea is that they can look up on the episode, see that in this episode we're having this beverage, and what episode, what show we're reviewing, a movie, and then they could join us in it.
Yeah.
So that's why we go into spoiler territory.
Taste what we taste.
Yeah. So someday when we have our crap together, we'll let people know beforehand.
We'll have a calendar.
You have a website?
Ancient tool.
We need a website bad.
Let's get you a website.
I don't know. I've never made a website before.
I find that shocking, Nick.
Well, I did make a HTML coded one in high school for. Oh, it's kind of whack, dude.
HTML coded?
Oh my gosh! I just had it. I'm about to have a stroke. I literally used a picture of a gorilla in a zoo, shaking on the bars for an energy drink, a fake energy drink website I wrote, and just a few it was like so Harambe-esque, you know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure it was a picture of Harambe before he was dead, you know. It was pretty sure. So, anyways, all that. So, sorry, I just had
Just have a weird flashback.
I just had a flashback to like doing that, and then Harambe died.
I'm holding you down.
Thanks.
Yeah, we're bringing you in.
Okay, all right, I'm back.
He just went into the Matrix. He just learned Kung Fu.
It's all that AI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't know the first thing about fucking making a good website with a calendar and with like
I know how to
sign
make a
up with
mediocre
emails.
one. Very mediocre
Can
one.
make a really good website nowadays with anybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly also
This
so
section
much of our
brought to you
shit to
by-
AI.
Squarespace.
We can't. I don't think
Oh,
we can actually
crap.
say that quite yet because I think
You're
they
right.
will review this to see if they are sponsored or not.
What, they
It
will?
might be sponsored by Squarespace eventually.
That's true.
That'd be fun. They sponsor,
They sponsor
a lot. but-
everybody.
Yeah. So Last of Us.
Yeah.
The
Season finale, man. We'll do a quick recap, just kind of like we usually do for each episode here, just to kind of hit on the high notes of the people who participated, helped make it happen. Director to this episode, which I've been not doing a good job of for the other episodes, but Ali Abbasi, really kind of unknown. I've never seen any of his stuff, but apparently Holy Spider was a good crime thriller.
Holy
based-
Spider.
It was based out of the
Is that a
Middle
rock
East.
song by Dio?
No,
Oh,
no, it wasn't.
that's
But-
Holy Diver. Sorry.
Okay, gotcha. Supporting cast this one, which is kind of like our first fun bit of trivia. Ashley Johnson, who was the mother of Ellie, who is also the original voice actor of Ellie in the video games. It's kind of cool. She gave life to the character in the video games. She gave life to the character in the show, literally. And so I thought that was a really good, sweet contribution. And I thought that was probably like the actual like best, outside of Marlene being able to play her own character from the video games.
Oh, Marlene plays her own character.
Yeah, it's the voice actor from the games in the show.
Cool. And she's a great actress.
She is, and all the other voice actors that are prominent in the video game have had bit parts in the show.
Yeah.
But Ashley Johnson being able to have that role, I thought was pretty cool.
Was it Joel was the guy that got slashed in the neck? by Ellie, right?
Troy Baker was the other cannibal James who she put the cleaver into his neck.
Yeah.
Last episode 8. But anywho, so those are kind of the main bits and notes here, and we got to see, I thought, a very faithful adaptation of the last part of the game, and it definitely had its own spin on it. Excuse me, that I thought was not as good as the game, but the other people who I've spoken with who've watched it preferred it to like the way it went in the game. And I get that because in the game, I'm Joel, spoilers, running around slaughtering the nursing staff and the fireflies that are like fighting against me.
You
trying
went
to
no
get you-
Russian on them?
Yeah, bro. No, I mean, it wasn't like they're hunting you down in the hospital.
Okay.
But dude, you're just stacking bodies, music's intense, and you're like, I'm gonna get my baby girl. and like in the show, you know, it was like kind of like
This slow.
serene-ish, kind of dream-esque sad music. And like he definitely stacks bodies, but not, you know, anywhere remotely to how many you stack in the game. And all that said, we'll get into kind of those things. I thought it was faithful. I thought it was really well done, and I loved that they didn't change it. I know there was talks about changing the ending a little bit, like a little bit of a different spin, and I really thought it was a faithful adaptation. So for those of you who've seen the last episode, pretty much exactly the same way it plays out in the game. If you all wondering,
Yeah. Well, Craig Mazin, the writer of the show, well, co-wrote, because who was the video game writer was
Neil Druckmann.
Yeah. If you like wait till the HBO that thing and then it goes into like their review, which is I always really
always
enjoy.
watch that, yeah, I always
it's
enjoy
really
it.
good.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Why do you think when your episode ends and it goes to credits, there's still 8 to 10 minutes left of the episode?
You probably never looked at the timeline, huh?
Well, I just figured the credits are as long as crap.
Yeah.
They are
Go back and watch
Netflix.
those. They're really good because actually it's really cool because they're interviewing the writers, which is pretty uncommon. Oftentimes it's the director
Right.
that they're interviewing. So, but yeah, that's one thing he talked about that last episode. He wanted it to be pretty authentic to the game. I've never played the game, but I respected that a lot. I think I'm a Craig Mazin fanboy. I love Craig Mazin. He wrote Chernobyl.
Yeah, I like Chernobyl a lot too.
Yeah.
I'm iffy on him a little bit.
I'm curious to know why, but he wrote this or he has this podcast out too called Script Notes. And there's this podcast I've listened to, I'm not kidding you, like probably 8 to 10 times about how to write a screenplay. He kind of gives his ways on how he writes a screenplay, and it'll blow your mind. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. You're the critical uncle that might be like, it's all right, but
yeah, I'm super critical. I'm like insanely critical, and I understand.
I'll send it to you. You see what you think.
Please do. I mean, here's the thing. I like him so far, except for when it's not what I see in the show, like during the interviews. It's sometimes the behind the scenes stuff that like I like see that he says, and like, you know, people quote him for what he said on set and stuff. And sometimes I just read it. I'm like, dude,
I haven't seen any of that.
Get real. You know, I'll read you some a little bit.
You send me some of that stuff too.
It's like the classic like my shit don't stink. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
not
he's
a bad
an incredible
guy.
writer.
Not a bad guy. Yeah, he's a phenomenal writer.
Yeah.
He's not a bad guy. I'm not saying he's a bad guy by any means. It's just sometimes like it's like the ego
that kind of rubs you the wrong way.
Unable to see outside yourself and think that you're making the best stuff, and otherwise it's like
that's a bummer.
It's like, hey man, like other people make good stuff too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Oh, I said, Craig, dude, if you want to be on the podcast, please, like, we'll we'll throw out the other Craig.
Yeah.
That way there's no mix up.
Craig's gone.
Yeah.
New Craig, you're in.
Hey, can you pass me one of those other fireflies? Flying embers?
I actually need one too. May I?
Yeah.
You can have as much as you want, dog.
Anything.
Right. Mikasa, Sukasa.
This is true. I'm good. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I like this episode, and did we review the general plot of it yet? We kind of went right to the end. Yes. Yeah. So basically, picks up with Joel and Ellie traveling to a hospital that they've been trying to get to kind of throughout the entire season. And this is right after Ellie's had this, what would be a traumatic experience.
Incredibly.
And I think the word traumatic this day and age might be thrown around a little loosely. Yeah. But I would say that Ellie went through a traumatic event where she was attacked, almost attempted rape, almost cannibalized by her rapist, and then brutally murdered her rapist and his henchman with a cleaver. So PTSD alert. For sure. Coming in strong, even for these people in this world where it's brutal and violent. This was an extraordinary event in her life, and we kind of see that as she's a kind of 1,000-yard stare at the beginning of this, really throughout the whole first 3 quarters of the episode. And it's kind of like the roles have changed where Ellie was, I feel like, trying to get Joel's affirmation a little bit, or
in other episodes
throughout the season, and then this switched where like now the last episode ended with Joel holding her saying, "Baby girl, it's okay, I'm here," and that's where like it totally revealed like, all right, he's like back to being a dad again. Like she has resurrected his ability to be a father. Yeah, that's been gone for the last 20 years.
That's the last time I heard him say "baby girl." I mean,
was when she was dying in his arms.
Right.
Sarah. Yeah, when Sarah was,
Mm-hmm. And so now this episode opens up with him he's trying to engage her, which hasn't been the case in the past. He's the one asking for the puns.
He's the one talking all the time.
He's the one talking, trying to connect. He pulls out a can of like Chef Boyardee, which was like from back in a different episode when they'd shared that previously when they were traveling through. And
play a game. They've never played a game.
Right. Yeah. Just kind of being like dad and daughter. Yep. And also maybe classically dad with teen daughter attempting connection with the teen daughter. Now this teen daughter just gone through something traumatic, but I think that all dads with teen daughters can probably relate to like trying to connect with glazed eyes and rolling eyes and that sort of thing. And so they do make it to the hospital by being captured. And Joel goes, when he comes to, he finds out what they're really going to do to Ellie. which is remove her cordyceps,
Her brain.
which
In
is
her
in
brain,
which is
yeah.
in the brain.
Yep.
And so the is that how it is in the video game too? Like it's
Yeah.
become one with you.
The video game, I think the video game dialogue I actually preferred. And I met a couple, like when I showed it to some friends as well, and my wife, they were all like, oh, that dialogue did actually flow a little bit better.
Huh.
And it was a little bit simplified, but essentially it's like she's going into operation. They have to remove the cordyceps from her. The video game? I mean,
The dialogue, the video game dialogue?
Yeah, you can find the ending to
curious
it.
to
You
hear
can see the side by side.
Yeah.
But Joel in the video game says cordyceps grows in the brain.
Yeah.
And Marlene's like, yes. And it's not like as overtly stated, like they're going to kill her. But Joel's like, no, you can't. Like, and he gets to like, take me to her. And that's when like someone hits him and stuff. And
Yeah.
he does his whole, like, rather than waiting for the stairwell, he just does it in the hospital room. Like, as soon as this guy's like, get moving, her, he just, breaks this dude in half, shoots him, and then just immediately from the room he wakes up in starts going through the hospital. So, anyways,
Believable or unbelievable? I mean, not to be too critical of the shooting sequence.
I think
Like the survivability or the
I mean, yeah, all these guys are aware that he's there in the hospital.
I'll say this: when it comes to a situation like the end of the world, I've never been in it, and I'm not going to really assume anyone's had a lot of resources and time to practice marksmanship, especially in a world where gunshots are going to attract infected. So all that said, like I watched it and I was like, he misses some shots. They miss some shots. He never gets hit. In the video game, of course, you get hit, right? But that doesn't translate well to a TV show. In the video game,
like, ow,
in the video game though, like you get hit a couple times throughout the whole thing, but you do kill like 30 people in this last like run through the hospital. In the show, he like I think it shows him like drop like maybe a dozen.
right.
And I was like, yeah, that's fine. Like he's in the zone, man. He's in the zone, and he's got the element of surprise on most of them going through like these hallways.
That's true.
So I don't know. I was fine with it. I'm not going to nitpick that too much.
Yeah. It's one of those circumstances where the story, like, you give license to that kind of thing, as a viewer.
It'd be different if like he was like the Bill scene. The Bill scene was fucking awful.
He's just standing
Like
in the middle
Bill
of the
just
road.
standing in the middle of the road with a hunting rifle at night, like with a white shirt. And I was like, how is he not Swiss cheese?
And,
Like he's glowing
yeah. And we talked
in
about,
the dark.
and we talked about this before where he had like automatic weapons down in his bunker and he's using like a deer
Right.
rifle, So
He had positions of advantage.
While the
over
guy's just
houses.
burning alive, just standing
Yeah.
there still.
yeah. And when we've talked about this part, we've said that it's one of two things. One, they're playing to the video game and the weapons you actually had in it that aren't that great throughout it.
Yep.
Or two, liberal directors don't know about gunfights.
That's it.
So we're giving them the benefit of the
I'm
doubt
not.
in there a little bit. And so yeah, as far as like that goes, but and I think that anybody would like to believe if they had to save their child, they could cut down an army, like no matter what. So like,
Yeah.
while it's, it's like, it just plays, like you were saying, where it plays to the viewer.
Yeah.
Just, and we've accepted certain
sure.
realities in TV and in video.
Yeah, it's about the world you paint in the storytelling too. That you, like, if you break away from that quickly, it can disrupt your experience in that world.
I
Because
think-
it's like there's rules that are painted in that world, just like a video game. There's certain rules. There's
Yeah.
certain game of play.
Well, and I think before we roll past this, a good note of how it is felt differently based off of if you play the game or not. Playing the game, when Joel and Nellie get to Philadelphia
Kombucha.
in the game,
yeah.
in the show it's Kansas City. When they get there, me as someone who's played the game, I expect heads are rolling. Because in the game, you get ambushed same way, but you never find a big boss. you just move from building to building, just icing people, trying to get out of Philadelphia. And it's brutal. You know, that's where we all talk about getting the brick, like getting bricked is from that game where Joel literally takes bricks.
Is that really the term that comes from?
I mean, that's the first time I started hearing it was after The Last of Us, and people would be talking about it.
Really?
Like, dude, you're going to get bricked. And like, that was when
Game literally had a cultural influence.
It was literally a reference to like that game and how brutal it was when you could just pick up a brick and smash a dude's face open.
Jeez. I've heard that term before.
I'm not going to say that it originated from the game or whatever, but like, that's just like where I remember all of us had played the game and then we all started like referencing that kind of combat and violence from the game. But anyways, in the show, I felt like they were like, we're going to take the realistic approach. Not necessarily accurate to the game and what you've experienced in the game playing it. But this sequence, Joel going through the hospital and like you're just grinding your teeth so fucking mad and all you care about is getting into that surgery room before they cut her open. You feel the clock ticking when you're playing the game.
For sure.
And you don't count how many people you kill. Mm-hmm. You just know whoever comes across the horizon, you're just going to put that little dot over their head and you're going to ice them.
So they motivate you, and even in the game, to have the same kind of rage that Joel has. Like,
of course.
Even in the,
Of course. If you're playing the game on like the hardest difficulty, you're at like hour 12.
Yeah.
And you just wake up and Ellie's not there.
Right.
Yeah, no, you're raging, dog.
That's awesome.
You're raging. And like, I just remember like that, and then like seeing in the show, I was like, okay, I like this. And I'm not thinking at all while this is going on, this isn't realistic. I'm thinking, oh, it's just like the game, dude. It's just like the game. And I get to see Joel rage out and just like robotically mow people down until he gets to Ellie. And then it's like, it's just delicate when he picks her up. The one thing I wish they would have done in the show that they did in the game was when Joel picks her up out of the hospital bed in the game, he says, it's all right, baby girl. I got you. And it, like the sincerity in his voice when he picks her up like that, and just starts running, hoofing it out of there. I just wish they would have had that in the show.
I've been saying this like the whole season, and this gave me some action.
Yeah,
but
you want more?
It
was too slow.
I just want more every time.
It was too slow for me too.
Yeah,
I would say personally, yes, but then there's this like romantic side of me that is like kind of enjoyed that it went against.
And that's what I heard. For my wife and my best friend, they said, I liked the slow motion, almost like soft music playing.
And there was every corner you were waiting for something to happen. They never delivered on it. And it was like sort of like you're just, and that's how every TV show is, like, especially zombies. Like the most recent zombie show that everyone knows is, oh gosh, help me.
Walking Dead.
Oh,
Walking Dead.
The Last of Us.
That one. No, but Walking Dead, right? I mean, every corner is like something, shit's hitting the fan. But I kind of like it when storytellers do that personally, when it's like they're kind of playing against what you're expecting. And because I was the same way, I was like, I wanted more zombies. I love like the makeup and like the freakiness of them. It's fun to me. But there weren't many.
No, someone else talked about that. I saw in a review where they were like, yes, like the thing the show didn't necessarily deliver on was that by the time you got to the end of the game, you had fought and died so many times to clickers. Like clickers had fucked you up.
Clickers just once in the like they made an appearance once in the.
They made an appearance a couple of times in the show, you know, infected, clickers, whatever. But like in the show, like I think if you've only watched the show and haven't played the game, by the time you get to the last episode, you're like, is the vaccine that important? Doesn't seem like they're that big of a deal. Right. We haven't seen one for the last 2 episodes, 3 episodes maybe.
But that was also believable because it was in Kansas. Right?
Sure. Yeah.
They're so far away from like rural areas that to me that was like, oh, I could see that. I thought about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
and so the end of this episode gets into them. Joel busts Ellie out of there and luckily gets a car that lasts for more than 3 miles.
Well, that truck lasted way over 3 miles. It just only lasted one episode.
I know. I know. It's like, the main moral of the story I've said for this show is don't be a vehicle for Ellie and Joel because you die very quickly. And so
Whether you're a truck or a horse.
Yeah, like don't be a vehicle for them. You're not making it very long.
A mode of transportation. Yeah.
But this vehicle got them back to where they need to go pretty fast. You know, it's funny.
It still died.
Well, wait, you're skipping like Marlene though.
Whoa,
you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
I'm
Touch on it.
breezing over.
I mean,
Brian, you touch on it.
Yeah.
Brian, talk to us about it, man.
Well, I mean,
Why do you
they
wanna talk
bust out of the
about
hospital.
Marlene?
Marlene is a hinge point of the entire story, I believe.
This is true.
She is, dude. Because
she's basically the godmother of Ellie, who gave her over to this man she didn't know, and now has her in her grasp, but has to surrender her. It's this like perfect setup for a story. That's where I was like, this is awesome.
Here's my thing. Marlene. Marlene, so hard. I don't give a dude. You know why? You know what?
Why?
I'm gonna say the one thing that just like to me makes it fall apart.
Okay.
I didn't play the DLC to the video game. This might be answered in the DLC, so be gentle with me, commenters. Marlene in the show, we're led to believe, is given Ellie by her best friend to look after, to raise.
Okay.
And then Marlene at some point abandons Ellie to Fedro to be
that's such a good point.
And raised.
Yeah.
And Marlene doesn't even want Ellie to be in the Fireflies. Riley literally tells Ellie, I asked if you could come and they said no. And then
why?
Riley dies. Somehow the Fireflies find Ellie, or Ellie finds them after Riley dies, and they realize she's immune. Then they want her. Marlene. Marlene gave up her best friend's kid to the Fireflies because it was too much of a burden to be raising a kid while I'm trying to do my revolution.
That's so funny.
There's a little plot hole action there.
We're getting to the season. We're getting to the season stuff almost, because this is pretty season cumulative, right? But like, I thought about that on the drive over, and I was white man raging on my steering wheel. I was just like, Marlene. She tried to like manipulate Joel in the end, like, I raised her,
you did not. You raised her.
Abandoned her to the Nazis.
Well, okay, that's so crazy. I actually did not think about that until now. I mean, in a way, I was like wooed by the spell too. But you okay over there?
Yeah, he's just chuckling.
Too much flying embers. Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to reconcile
process that, Brian. Put you on the spot.
No.
And that's like.
Did you think about that too?
I didn't think about that until just now, and so that is
good writing.
So is that
or is it bad writing?
It's like, so is that plot hole territory, or like was it intentional or not intentional? What's the? I don't know, but that's a good point. And so for me, Marlene, one place they might have missed out a little more was like on the. Some throughout the whole show, throughout the whole season, character development has been kind of rough for me as far as you're in an episode or episode and a half or 2 episodes before you die, which I realize they're painting the world you live in, like you've got a ticking clock and you're getting taken out of it pretty fast. But because this show did throughout especially at the beginning, and throughout, they carried it through into this last episode, was they jump time-wise, they jump back and forth to tell the story. So they could have sprinkled in some heavier character development for us to care about a lot of these different characters throughout the whole show. So there's nobody in this show that I hate. You know what there's no bad guy that's like.
I think that's great.
I'll say.
Go.
Yeah, you go, Brian. I've already talked enough. Brian, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I disagree about the character development. I think maybe it goes back to the same comment of like kind of breaking norms a bit,
like a fresh take on it.
Yeah, because I'm a sucker for like the basic, like there's a hero, there's a villain, but there's also like what's great about TV writing is you're seeing this a lot. There's no clear line about who's a hero, who's a villain. They both, people kind of take on both characteristics,
I mean,
which I think is more
Joel's
human.
A villain, dude.
Joel, oh, for sure. I mean, like you see, like
Joel is a villain.
Yeah. Well,
so am I. Because I'm Joel. Literally me.
Like in the game. That's what you play
that's
the
what I'm
villain.
saying. Yeah. It's like I think there's what great storytelling is a reflection of something that's in us, you know, and like that's when people resonate with a story that it there's a heartbeat that we can like relate to. So I don't know. I there's also like, how do you develop character further in, like, there's so much plot to get through it.
Yeah. I think that's, and you know, we've talked about this on another episode too, that this show needed, I think, 1 or 2 more episodes.
I agree. I wanted it too.
Because the thing that Pat was talking about, I felt the word I would use is formulaic. I felt like when you analyze each episode on just its cliff notes or maybe just the side notes of the script, it actually plays out pretty formulaic, almost like a CSI weekly episode.
Really?
New characters introduced to the 2 main characters. That character is dead by the end because of something. And like,
that's true.
And like that's the difficulty of adapting, I think, things like video games story-wise, because in that video game,
you're going through levels.
Right. And you spend as much time with those characters as it takes for you to get better at the game.
Yeah.
And eventually, like, you get to a point where you either really hate that character because they're a really good villain that has killed you a bunch, or you really love that character because you've died so many times and that character has been around and it was written well for the game, and now like you value that character. And that's why I really like the weakest thing in this show for me was the Kansas City storyline, because I felt like it
took cut short in a way, or
I felt like it took 2 episodes to tell the story that we only, like, the main story should have been Henry and Sam, not whatever her face was.
Oh yeah, I don't remember her name.
She's not Kathleen. Yeah, she's not even in the video game. The video game though, Henry and Sam, outside of the finale of the game, you know, where you rescue Ellie, doom humanity. Outside of the ending, the Henry Sam stuff was what stuck with me the most.
They had to work in the woman president though. I'm sorry.
Was there a woman president?
Kathleen.
Oh yeah. Well, sure. Woman dictator at that point. But like, it was just one of those things where like when I was watching the show, I was like, it's a formula in it, adapting each episode. Here's a character from the game that's important, but they also die because they died in the game, or kind of died in the game. And I was just like,
I guess because I wasn't that upset when anybody died, besides maybe like
Bill and Frank, I fucking wept.
You know, like Frank, I said, like
ugly cry,
like, because of the intensity of that story. But otherwise, like, but also I wasn't that upset when he died, as far as like the story, for like the sake of the story.
No, it made sense.
You know, it was like this because it was this little, you know, tiny story that went on in the overarching bit. So the character development wise for that too, like there's, for me, like from a traditional standpoint of being like, there's no like looming big villain. Which I just like to have that like kind of mystery out there, whatever, or caring when someone, you know, like like if like, I wish I felt upset when Marlene died, which maybe I'm just soulless,
dude. It was I'm with you there. I don't know, man. It was weird. I think Marlene was incredibly well written because I felt the same way watching her die in the show as I did in the video game, and it was essentially like no emotion at all, because I remember like playing the game, and like when I was like at this point of like going through this hospital, and there was people in scrubs with like guns shooting at me, you know, people trying to stop me, and you know, they would say like audio lines that they recorded for the game were like, "Come on, man, it's for humanity," and you're just like you're playing the game and you're just like unblinking, like F you. Like, I don't care. I don't give a shit. Humanity's gone anyways. And like for me, when I was playing the game, all Marlene was at the end. Yeah, she was someone, exactly. She was an obstacle. She was someone in the beginning of the game that I was like, okay, all right, I get you giving me this responsibility. Wow. Oh, you seem like you've carried this responsibility for a while. You seem like you care about Ellie. And not only that you care about her, you've carried the burden of caring about her for a while. And so I kind of feel like I can look at Marlene in the beginning levels of the game and be like, oh man, this is what I'm getting into.
Yeah.
someone who's worth dying for. Why is she worth dying for? Whatever, right?
And it's more than just the
but by
possible
the
cure.
by the end of the game, you know why Ellie's worth dying for.
Yeah.
She's your fucking daughter.
Yeah.
She's your daughter, and she loves you, and she saved your life, and you saved her life.
Yeah.
And you played as Ellie for like 2 hours during the cannibal section because Joel was hurt. And so like you play as Ellie too in the game a little bit, and by the time you see Marlene again, you're just like, I remember you.
I don't feel the same.
Move out of the way.
Yeah.
Because I will bulldoze through you. Like you don't. I remember you, and I learned the lesson that you were designed to teach me, and now you're an obstacle to what you taught me. So get out of the way. And that's how I felt about it in the show too.
Yeah. And there's no more flinching for Joel.
No.
Ever.
No hesitation.
Yeah.
Any hesitation I think you see in the show is also similar to the game during the cutscenes, whereas the player, you're like, I'm just playing, dude.
Yeah.
I'm literally just acting so I can get the draw. I mean, I remember like as soon in the show, in the episode where she's like putting the gun to the side and like moving her hands out, like it's not too late, Joel. I'm like, she's dead. Like, like as soon as she moves to like let Joel get the drop on her, it's over, man. But
that's awesome.
What do you think, Brian? Overall, like character wise, I know you said you felt the characters were super strong. I think Kathleen, series wise, was a pretty weak villain. And when I think about the characters, that aren't in the video game, they're the weakest characters in the show. And I would like to hear your thoughts of like character wise writing and all that. Who were your favorites? Who were your least favorite?
Yeah. Well, I think the characters that mattered, had great character development because I actually don't. It's funny, I didn't remember Kathleen's name, but she was a transition point, and I think like to write a TV series is different than writing a video game, very much so.
Oh yeah.
And getting to where they needed to be, they needed certain moments, right? I don't know. That probably could have been done differently for sure, like with Kathleen and that whole insurrection and everything that they were fighting against with that too. But sorry, what were the two guys?
Henry and Sam?
Yeah, Henry and Sam. That was that in the video game?
The brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
that was one of the
same plot.
The show did the dialogue with Henry's suicide, Sam's death.
How
better, but in the game, Sam's not deaf. Sam didn't have cancer.
Yeah.
All it was is that Henry and Sam stole from the bandits in Philadelphia or Pittsburgh.
So again, a great example of character development, though, like the fact that Sam was deaf.
I thought it was overcooked.
Oh, that was great.
Like the whole he's deaf. Also, my brother had cancer, and that's why I stole from these guys, and that's why I turned that guy. Oh, not stole. That's why I betrayed that guy.
Wait. Think about
Jesus.
Yeah. I get the why though, like why that's included.
Sure, I get the why too.
It was believable to me. Like I liked the fact that Sam was this unreachable character in a way because you no one could speak to him really except for Henry, and so there's this like bond. And they share this similar bond that Ellie and Joel do. Yeah. in a way. Yeah. So they're mirror images of each other.
The way I comment, I mean, they are. Here's the thing that the show makes a lot easier to follow than I think the games do. Yeah. I think you could play the game and just think like, oh, these are just people I encounter. Mm-hmm. The show literally tries to show you mirrors of Joel and Ellie the whole time, and that looks like,
oh yeah,
the first one is Bill being happy, and dying happy, That's totally opposite from the game.
Yeah,
Bill finds out Frank's dead. Frank got bit, hung himself. Bill bitterly tells you to take whatever you need, and you leave, and you're pretty sure Bill's going to kill himself in the game. But Bill in the show is to show you a reflection of Joel, who Joel could be.
Yeah,
because Bill before Frank is a lot like Joel now.
Okay,
bitter, let the world burn, doesn't have a purpose to live for other than to survive. But as soon as you let love in, you have a purpose, and you might, if you're lucky, get to die in the arms of the one you love. So, now, Kathleen is the next mirror. Kathleen is the mirror of Joel turning completely into the darkness.
Yeah.
Does not matter. I'm willing to kill children.
Yeah.
Because they took my significant other. For
Right.
Kathleen, it was her brother. For Joel, it'd be probably Ellie. And it's ironic because I knew, and this is why I kind of wanted to call back to Kathleen. Kathleen said to Henry when they're behind the car, essentially she says, I'm gonna f up the dialogue here, but she's like, what makes him special? What makes him worth other people dying for?
Yeah.
Why is it okay for the whole world to die for one kid? And like essentially she's saying like, I'm gonna kill a kid because what does it matter? What's the difference? And I'm gonna do it because you thought it was worth my brother dying. That's totally foreshadowing to Joel making that decision at the end of the series of like, I'm gonna kill this. I'll kill the whole world to get Ellie off that table.
Yeah.
Right. And so, even though we don't want to admit it, Joel could still be Bill and end up dying happy with people he loves around him. But he became Kathleen for a little bit of it.
He did.
And then we have Henry and Sam as like the dichotomy, the perfect mirror accurately.
Yeah.
But
it's
then,
the middle point too.
But then if Ellie dies, gets sick and die or something like that, Joel might not be able to live with it and have to end himself the way Henry did, especially if Joel was the one who had to put Ellie down or something. Now I don't really think there's another good mirror, because at that point I think there's enough examples and the rest of it is just about finishing the journey.
Threes too.
Yeah. And it comes to threes. That's a good point. But like those were like the mirrors that I felt like I saw like really well written out in the show. And not necessarily as clearly in the game. In the game, you feel like they're probably more characters.
Yeah.
Henry and Sam is a little bit more poignant.
I'm trying to understand if you feel like that is a beneficial story device or if that is a distracting story device.
I think it's good. I think it's beneficial. I think it's different when in a game because you're literally playing, you're engaged beyond the way you can be for TV.
Yeah. It's an interesting discussion around, the adaptation from video game to TV series. I think that happened with a movie recently with Uncharted, which was terrible.
Oh, boo-boo.
Yeah.
Also, Naughty Dog's game.
Yeah.
It's sad. You compare Uncharted and how much money Naughty Dog put into that versus The Last of Us. Uncharted has 4 games in a movie.
And
The Last of Us
Uncharted's great. Or
Uncharted,
sorry, the game's great.
Yeah. The movie was dog doo-doo. Clear sign of like studio overreach.
Right.
Dude, the fact that the studio was like, hey man, let's make a really young actor be Nathan Drake. And I was just like, clearly misunderstand. Yeah. And they're like, I get the studio mindset behind it. It's like, well, if we do Tom Holland, then we can do a shitload of sequels with Tom Holland.
Tom Holland does his own stunts. He's a parkour artist.
Yeah. And like Mark Wahlberg will only get more old. And become more like the old guy in the games. And I was just like, no. Here's the fucking thing that you need to do. You need to watch the fan-made Uncharted movie, like show. It's like a 20-minute one on YouTube where, if I remember right, they got Bruce Campbell to play Sully, from like who's the older mentor in the games. And then they got Nathan Fillion to play Nathan Drake. And Nathan Fillion is literally who they designed
Oh, really?
Nathan Drake off of as like inspiration.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and if you've seen anything, Nathan Fillion, he's known for like the one season of Firefly and then a ton of others. He did Bones that he was phenomenal in. Nathan Fillion's like a very well-known, not only voice actor, he was...
Did you say Firefly?
Yeah, dude, Firefly.
Oh.
Yeah, a great show though. And, it ties in here. But that was like a one-hit wonder. But all I said... get kind of off topic there. This was a better use of the Naughty Dog IP.
Yeah.
And having Neil Druckmann on board here is way more clear versus Uncharted. It's clear that Uncharted movie didn't have many people from the game studio helping out.
I love adaptations of stories, whether it's an adaptation from a true story to a movie of some sort, like a biopic of some sort. And even now video games, I think it's a bold move because it makes me think about like the conversation we're having is like, what kind of things need to happen in the writing and the storytelling to make it work? And I would say I would give this a 2 thumbs.
2 thumbs.
Oh wait, we're gonna pass that point.
We can.
No. That point is honestly whenever you want, whenever you're ready to give it.
Yeah. The we can. I think we can go into like final thoughts, and then do you want to get into some trivia, some stuff like that, and
sure.
then we can give our thought on the season.
Yeah. I think some cool trivia stuff here. I know we've already kind of talked a little bit of like things we've noticed, but here are some things that someone did the math on. They did the math. One of my favorite Reddits of all time is literally just screenshots of people who did the math for things that are like, who cares? But that's awesome. Joel and Ellie have traveled roughly 3,500 miles according to Google Maps across the first season. They began their journey in Boston, tracking through Boston into Lincoln, Massachusetts, then to Kansas City, Cody, Wyoming, Jackson, Wyoming, Boulder, Colorado. Bullshit.
It was Boulder.
Oh, no.
As people said, I think
What
in the
was
show,
Reno, Las Vegas sign?
I think people in the show made a line of like near Boulder. I think they said something near Boulder. It's Fort Collins.
Went to Fort Collins.
They went to Fort Collins.
That was the campus.
Yeah, because
Okay, I know.
That was the university.
The
Bro,
big-
come on, man,
Yes.
you've seen that building.
It's not the building, but the sign. Where
Brian also
the sign said
partook
the Bighorn.
at CSU.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's
fact-
closest to Cheyenne, too.
Dude, first time I met Brian was in a Colorado State University classroom where Brian was teaching me how to edit video for a bank robbery scene.
Oh wow.
Do you remember
that
that
project?
Bro, dude, we were so young. We were so young back
Oh
in the
my
day.
gosh.
That was
Yeah.
nuts.
That's funny. They would reference Boulder instead of Fort Collins.
Silver
Who
Lake,
is
Colorado
this?
was the Cannibals. Salt Lake City, Utah was episode 9. If you count their journey back to Jackson at the end of episode 9, over 3,700 miles in season 1.
Dang,
Pretty cool.
On horse,
that's a lot of walking.
on truck.
So I did the math though, because I'm good at math, guys. I'm a data scientist by day. You know, whatever. I work with AI. What up? Humble brag. No, but last episode, Brian, I did the math on if it was accurate, how long it took them to go from Jackson, Wyoming, on horseback to Fort Collins. That's why we know it was in Fort Collins.
Yeah.
Because they said it was going to take 500 miles. They were going to have to go southeast from Jackson.
Yeah.
And if you do Jackson to Fort Collins by following roads, it's exactly 500 miles. If you were to walk it, or not walk it, but ride it by horse, which horses can cover about 100 miles a day on average, it would take 5 days. Now they get there in about 4.5-ish days. Because if you don't go by roads, if you just go by as the crow flies, it's about 450 miles.
Okay. Yeah.
And so
Nice.
whoever
So
did
it is Fort Collins.
It is Fort Collins, and whoever did the show did their research about travel time,
Yeah.
gas tanks.
Which is, I love that.
Yeah,
Good for them.
I love it too. It's
Yeah.
so realistic.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly I don't know how guns work, but
That's why I think it's a
Who the hell
symptom
would-
of that's
who
something
in
else.
their right mind would ever pick up a Mini 14 carbine over an AR?
I
don't
did
know.
in the stairwell.
Yeah,
Oh my
was-
god.
Who would pick up a
In the
Mini
stairwell.
14 with a f***ing crutch as its stock over an AR-15?
I was thinking the same thing.
Dude, I was just like, pick up that black scary gun, you
Yeah,
fucker.
dude. Yeah, the black gun, the black death rifle,
Yeah.
dude. Everybody knows.
Did you not pick that
Yeah.
up, Kyle? Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was like just little single shots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next fun fact, one shot of Joel's watch sets up his final decision. As Ellie is dragged away once they get ambushed by the fireflies, Joel helplessly watches on a shot of Joel's watch that Sarah gave him in the show. This conveys to the audience how Joel is thinking about Sarah at this moment and how he is helplessly watching his new daughter be taken away from him like Sarah once was. Yada, yada, yada. All that said, I don't know if that's really what, this person writing decided to do. But there is definitely a significant moment where when Joel gets knocked unconscious and they're dragging Ellie away after the gas grenade, all that, it does show his watch and it's prominent there. And I do think that is an intentional nod to
For sure.
he lost one daughter. The watch is here on his wrist.
They don't
way he's gonna
establish
lose
things
a
like that
second
without
one.
a purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joel's story about the suicide attempt is in addition to the series. That was not in the video game, and I thought it was pretty interesting. In the game, the scene just sees Ellie giving Joel the photo of him and Sarah that Tommy tried to give Joel when they were reunited in the video game. So in the game, it's another heartwarming scene where Ellie's like, here's this picture of your daughter I got that I picked up that you didn't take from your brother. the giraffe scene wasn't portrayed in CGI, which was so hard for me to tell because of the green screen behind the giraffe.
Yeah, it looked CGI.
I thought the
So
giraffe
it wasn't worth it.
No,
You thought it was
dude, I
CGI?
couldn't tell. I was like,
I had an argument with Chris about this last
looking
night.
at it, and
Really?
the way I saw
Yeah.
the way I saw the tongue lick like Ellie's hand, I was like, that's real. That's real. The way that tongue literally like interacted with her hand.
I agree.
That's real. Because if it's CGI, they just put their hand behind the animal and you can't see their hand touching it. You're right. But the reason it looked like CGI, I think, is because of the green screen for the backdrop.
Yeah, that was bad.
And that they went up a story and up a story and up a story and then up a ladder.
These giraffes have had a
And
long time to grow, man.
And then up some stairs, and then they were to where the giraffes were.
Bro, dude.
That's such a good point.
I'm
Maybe
gonna disagree.
they're in a parking
I'm
garage.
gonna disagree continuity
down in the
wise with
basement.
you.
Or it was like on a hill.
I think
building.
all we see is that they go up 2 stories. Oh no, 3 stories.
It would say what?
Yeah, but dude, that's a big ass giraffe.
I don't know, bro. I think the giraffes at the Denver Zoo are 3 stories tall.
How tall are giraffes?
When you walk in there to the enclosure and you feed them,
Can you ask Craig?
Yeah, it's a little nitpick.
you already know what to do, bitch. We'll wait. Well, I mean, he'll do that. He'll send it my way. He'll airdrop it over when he's got it.
Airdrop. He's not allowed in this room, is he?
He has to stay
No,
behind
he's
the
over
curtain.
there. He's over there behind the curtain. But like, I mean, I don't want him in here breathing our air.
He just said I can hear you.
That's all right. Yeah, I hope he does hear me. I'd be pissed if he's not listening.
Here's a great thing.
Ashley Johnson watched some of Bella Ramsey's performance to match her mannerisms as Anna and referred to her original combat style as Ellie for her fighting scene with an infected, which I thought, like, here's this stuff right here. One thing, I'm a big fan of Ashley Johnson because I watch Critical Role. My wife and I love, watching their live play Dungeons and Dragons. Their animated show, the Vox Legends of Vox Machina. It's one of the best animation I've seen. Really cool, really fun, accurate, kind of comedic and violent portrayal of Dungeons and Dragons. But actors in the trivia stuff and behind the scenes have been saying stuff like this the whole season. And this is why I say Craig Mazin thinks his shit don't stink. Because like Craig Mazin has, said comments of like the scene of like Anna fighting the infected as she gives birth to Ellie through like stress and trauma and a mother fighting for the life of her newly born child in a fallen world is like a perfect. He used like a French word for like essentially like a term of like a framed piece of art.
Oh wow!
And I was just like, look, man,
It's a true fagua.
the thing is, if I was directing this and I saw that like in camera after like we had just filmed it, I'd be like, man, that's pretty fucking badass, right, guys? But like, come on, man, don't be like going around to people being like, this is the Mona Lisa of like women giving birth in movie scenes. You know what I mean? Because like, don't get me wrong, it was a well filmed scene, it was a well shot scene. Because Ashley Johnson did a great job portraying Ellie's mom. I think Troy Baker did a good job being right hand man to Cannibal Guy. But dude, all of them have had these comments of like, this character, I really tried to channel this thing. Even like Kathleen's right hand man, James. They shouldn't include some of the shit they do in the end of the episodes. But like, he was like the guy, he's the voice actor for Tommy in the video games. He played James in the show, and he was just, or not James, whatever his name was. James was by Troy Baker, but he says something like, well, I think his name in the show was James. He's like, James has a very important role interacting with Kathleen that will have ripples on the rest of the show. And I was like, wow, okay, well, can see that in episode 5. Yeah. And then there ain't no shit like that. Like, he's just like, run, and then gets his head ripped off. And I was like, oh, was that it? Was that the ripple? Like, I don't know.
Death. That's a good ripple.
Creative types, actors. It's the most classic way to explain what's happening there. Even with these, like, these are like great actors, good actors.
They are. They really are.
But it's the same thing as when an extra stops the whole thing and says, "Well, what's my motivation for the scene?"
Yeah.
And it's like,
Don't get me started on that.
yes, it's like, sit there and drink the coffee. Sit there and carry the oil lamp. Just okay. No, it's like so. That's essentially what they were. You don't have to read into it too far. You're a henchman.
Can I share a funny extra story?
Please
Is that allowed?
Please do.
Yes.
Yeah. Just don't use like
I won't
real
use
names.
Yeah. I was on a show and it's a period show that I was working on, and so I'm responsible for all the background actors.
You got one more.
I think there's another over here. Yeah.
Can you grab it? Who's got it?
it's right
is it
here.
close?
He's the supplier.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I apologize,
Take
Brian.
a beer
It's all
break.
good. It's all good. So I'm usually standing by the director, looking at monitor. We place all the background actors, tell them what to do. Looking at the monitor, and all of a sudden we see this background actor in the background, as they should be. He's sneaking up to other background actors, taking their things like apples and things like that. And we go up to him at they cut scene, and usually the director. It's the reason it's like that's not good is because the director is not focused on that, so they might get a good take. And there's this shit
But
happening
they
in
didn't
the
notice.
back.
They're not going to notice that.
Yeah.
No.
But all the viewers will.
Yeah, for sure. It would be great. But we go up to him. He's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm the town thief." And we're like, "No, you're not. You walk from here to here." He kept doing it anyway. So it was.
And and it's like the same thing you were just saying about everything in a movie. We're talking about The Watch.
Yeah.
Everything's intentional. Everything's shown for a reason.
Yeah.
And so, especially doing that sort of thing in there, it's not adding. It's only taking away. It's only adding confusion.
Yeah,
And you're probably not doing it that
it's
well.
a distraction.
So it's just a distraction, and it's
Dude, I think the next thing we should review, it's kind of a little bit of a throwback, but it is relevant because the season 3 just came out and wrapped up. Brian, have you heard about the show Barry?
Oh yeah.
With God, what's his fucking name? He's from SNL. He's SNL famous. He's more famous than that because he's hilarious.
You want to review that?
I love Barry because it is Bill Hader and those who are involved with it, Henry Winkler, Sarah Goldberg, actors, acting coaches, they absolutely go out of their way to make Hollywood look as full of shit as possible.
Barry is great. No, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Have you watched season 3?
I've watched only a few episodes, but
season 3 got so meta to the point where, like, well, don't get me wrong, it's really good. A lot of great twists. I'm not going to spoil anything because I do want Pat to watch the show. It's on HBO, short episodes, very enjoyable, very funny.
Because he's a hired hitman, right? I mean,
He's a
like,
hitman that goes
Yeah.
undercover as a student actor that actually ends up caring about acting and wants to get into like Hollywood, and it's f***ing awesome.
I'll have to check it out.
But the season 3 is 100% Bill Hader and the other, like, I would say people playing actors who are actors in real life, giving the middle finger to Hollywood of like, there's so much bullshit here. Like, they lose their mind over the opportunity to have one line and how they're going to say the line and how they're going to deliver it. And like, they totally give the middle finger to, streaming services and how no one with a brain makes a decision, but they just trust the algorithm to tell them what's going to be the best show. And you can have a show that gets a standing ovation, gets nominated for awards, and will get canceled after the first day it's available because the algorithm says it's not going to get enough traction.
Because the guys in the C-suite said the money's not going to happen, so we're cutting it.
It's insane how much of a like it has to. You watch it and you're like, this has to be an intentional you from Bill Hader.
Probably.
Who's just like, I hate Hollywood. I hate how like wicked and twisted everyone is. All that stuff. Sorry, we got into a whole nother show. It's a great show, but it's in the same vein, kind of what you're talking about with like these actors and extras, and then like behind the scenes, all these people at Last of Us saying like all these things about like these philosophical arguments of like the notions of their characters and who their characters are, and
you're a day player, man.
I love Troy Baker. I love Troy Baker. He's great. He's the voice of Joel in the games. But when he was like, I really foresaw that James, the character I was in the show, he he had this idea of morals and ethics and was proficient with firearms. And he was probably a police officer or trying to be a police officer before the apocalypse broke out. And I was just like, bro, no one gives up. No one cares.
You're a supporting actor.
It's the apocalypse. You were like a bit part.
Liberals only think that policemen are efficient with firearms if they're going to play them.
No kidding, right?
That's what I'm hearing. Anyways,
weird stuff. But all that said, that was kind of the trivia there. Ashley Johnson stuff. I like her ideas there of trying to like match Bella Ramsey's performance as Ellie. A little kind of kishy how she's like channeling it and all that jazz. Kathleen's harsh words to Henry. Oh no, this is a note from an episode 5 thing we had. I forgot to delete that. Oh no, sorry, no. That is Kathleen's harsh words to Henry. We already mentioned it about Sam from episode 5. End up foreshadowing, of course, Joel's actions and decisions in this episode to place Ellie's survival over the whole world. And so with that's our kind of bits of trivia there. And I would say I know Brian already started giving a rating, but let's go around the table, give our episode thumbs up, thumbs down, and then season thumbs up, thumb down. And then I have, of course, the most important question of all to ask you afterwards.
I'm excited.
All right. Pat, take us away.
Yeah, I think that this episode, I'm giving it a 1 thumb up.
Okay.
And for going off of like when we say 2 thumbs up, that's usually kind of also comes into like our personal take on things, like in your top catalog.
The 2 thumbs up for me is like you should watch this regardless if you watch the rest of the season. Like Bill and Frank is its own standalone thing. You don't need to watch the rest of the season to genuinely enjoy the Bill and Frank episode.
Because it stands alone in its support. Yeah, and I think I don't know if I want to give the season a 1 or 2 thumbs up.
Really?
Like, I know it's like I want to give it 2 thumbs up. I want to, but I don't know if I can.
If you can say like this is a mandatory show.
Yeah.
Like I'll be honest. I think Breaking Bad. I think first season of The Wire.
Mm-hmm.
I think like those are Better Call Saul. I'll be honest. Game of Thrones. Even though that last season is dog shit, I will say like Game of Thrones season 1 through 7. Like all those are 2 thumbs up for me. Of like breaking television.
Yeah.
Lost. Even though Lost has its flaws, I do give Lost a 2 thumbs up from like a perspective of like this was the first time this happened.
Get into it.
That's all right, but you can't argue that it didn't change TV. It was the first time that the movies came to television.
Right.
But it would not hold a flame to anything that's come out.
No. Lost is definitely a thing of its time.
Yeah.
For sure. And so that's where it's like, I think I'm giving this episode a 1 thumb. I'm giving the season a 1 thumbs up.
Right.
I think you should watch it. So 1 thumb's like, you should watch this,
But it's not mandatory.
You should watch the whole season. But like all those other ones you just listed out there, not the same for me.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
Brian?
Mick?
No, Brian, you go first, man. I love your opinion. I've cherished your opinion.
Wow. All
People
right.
can't tell because I've just been, being snarky.
You're
but I really look up to your opinion on film and stuff like that.
Thanks, Uncle Mick. I would agree with the 1 thumbs up on the season. I think there were some unnecessary plot points, but again, go see it. The episode, I would say differently, would be a 2.
Yeah.
The final episode. I thought that it was one of the best sum ups and a setup for another season that I've seen in a long time. And it was just, I felt like I was ready for the next thing, which is a great indication of a next episode. Things were wrapped up well, but not too well, So 2 thumbs up on the episode.
Alrighty. I'm really trying to see if like I'm going over the whole episode in my mind. If it stands up enough, on its own to be like a two-thumber. Like something and when I think of it too, I'll say another example. Did you ever take any college courses of film or television where like they would just show one episode of a TV show and you're like, what the why would you just show one episode? Like I hardly know anything, but they're like, no, this is like
a
the
bad
episode
film theory class.
I just remember that's how they showed me Freaks and Geeks, and I watched like one episode of Freaks and Geeks, and I was like, all right,
Show that?
I got to go back and watch the rest of this. Dude, Freaks and Geeks is phenomenal. Anyways, I think I'm gonna. Everything's in the shadow of Bill and Frank. I'm gonna give this episode one thumb up because I definitely think that Bill and Frank genuinely is a 2 thumbs up episode for me, where I believe that episode is so perfect in the balance of just a realistic relationship of like, it's not all roses, it's not overly sexual, and like the reality of I don't want to live another day without you, regardless of it's apocalypse or not. And like for me, like I think that like that episode on its own stands as like an example of like, well done, hour and 10 minutes of TV to have a perfect example of like everyone liked this. Or not everyone liked it. I'll be honest. I know not everyone liked it.
I'm a 0 thumbs on that one.
That's all right. That's okay. I'd love to hear about that as well. But I do think that this episode was really good. I just don't think it's like the pinnacle of the series so far. Season wise, though, I'm gonna give it a 2 thumbs up, man. I'm gonna give the season a 2 thumbs up and say like, this is better than any season of The Walking Dead. If you want to see a season of a show, how a show adopts the apocalypse, there's never been a show that has had better set design, that you can't tell when it's CG, you can't tell when it's green screen, and when it's set design.
That's true.
If you watch that cut when they open up and turn the lights onto the mall, you cannot tell me you can point on the screen where it stops being a set and where it starts being CGI.
That was entirely practical.
I know, but there's so many people who thought it was fake.
That entire
so
set
many
was
people
practical.
who thought it was fake because they're like, where the did they find them all to do
amazing.
that? That's how good the set design was. It was
the malls in
unbelievable.
America are closed, so
Yeah,
that's what you
yeah.
It was actually there was actually a
Being put
mall
to
in
good use.
Canada, Pat. So, anyways,
It was in Canada?
yeah. All of the show was filmed in Canada.
No, was it? Was it?
Yeah.
Huh.
Almost,
No, the Jackson episode was filmed in Jackson.
I don't think so.
Yes, it was.
We'll bet on money on that, Brian. But anyways, I think it's a pinnacle episode. I mean, a pinnacle show to show one. There's never been anything that's better at adaptation of a video game source material, in my opinion. 2, there's never been a better apocalypse show. Like I can't think of like, especially like with The Stand that came out like a couple years ago, the adaptation of like the apocalypse from Stephen. The horror writer,
Stephen King.
Stephen King, yeah. And how the movie,
Stephen Carell.
it was like a 2-part movie, and it was like a pretty good made for TV movie. And then they did the TV show, and it was dog duty.
Yeah.
So, with that, it's okay to change your opinions if you've been swayed.
No.
No,
Yeah,
okay, all right, well,
I think
whatever.
I think that it's for me. I'm just like kind of so cheap, where it's just like, and I've said the whole time, broken record. I just wanted more
Violence.
more action, more
Yeah.
violence going on. And
I
that's,
do feel incomplete without having a brick kill.
Yeah,
I really do feel incomplete without seeing someone get bricked. It sucks.
but
That is a bummer.
the
know that.
and I think there's a season 2 coming. There's a season 2 coming.
Oh, and let me tell you,
It's going to be a while.
I'm not going to spoil it. I don't look forward to it, man. It's not that I don't look forward to it because I think it'll be bad. I don't look forward to it because
You just know it's coming.
I just know it's coming. And I just know I'm still mixed about the game. I'm like bitter, but I'm also like resolved. I'll just say all
It's like a Game of Thrones kind of bitter.
no, maybe
Like story kind of.
actually maybe
Like,
things happened that I was like, you, that was the wrong decision,
Mm.
and that was offensively the wrong decision.
I guess, and that's where they might start changing in the show.
A lot of people who have played both games have been saying, I really hope that They choose to do things in a different order than they did in the second game. The second game has a lot of different jumps between times and settings, and people have like thrown their own theories of like this would be better for TV if they did it in this order.
So if Craig Mazin does that, does he get a pass to be a dick?
He's not a dick, dude. It's just like I said, like everyone in Hollywood, he just is like everything he's making. He's like, this is awesome. This is the best thing ever. And I get it because I would think the same thing. Yeah. I'm just like, dude, come.
Especially when people are like Chernobyl. Oh my god,
dude, Chernobyl was good though,
it was.
Dude.
Yeah.
But here's the best part about this and wrapping up.
We don't have to drink kombucha.
We are going to drink beer next week. We're going to take a beer on this show and we're going to drink it.
I already have a list of ones I've been drinking while we've been doing kombucha on the show. There's been beers I've been trying out.
Supplementing.
Yeah.
I have a slight headache from this kombucha. I'm not.
Nah, man. It's just from the lack of air flowing in this studio.
It's pretty stale in here. That's no doubt.
You're getting a headache. You're getting a headache because you're just breathing carbon dioxide at this point.
I see. Yeah. That makes more sense.
But so go try some hard kombucha. Go watch the whole season of The Last of Us. And next week we're gonna have some beer on this show. Go leave us a review. Roast us if you want.
Please.
Just leave a 5-star with a roast underneath it. That sounds good to us. We would love that. And we will read them on the show.
True that.
And so, to our kin out there, till next time.
Till next time.
Thanks for tuning in. If you love this episode, drop us a review. If you have qualms or comments, leave us a voicemail on our website. While you're there, check out our latest news, merch, and deals from our sponsors. Till next time, Ken.